Hey everyone. As you know, I hope you know, we will be having Move Up Sunday on August 12th, which means all of our students will be moving up into their uh, new rooms with the next grade up teachers. And so I'm looking forward to that. I hope you're looking forward to that. We probably won't have everybody back because school will be starting 2 weeks later. But it's easier to do that then because we have the new sixth graders coming up than it is to wait and do it later on. But yeah, we'll have Move Up on August 12th. I appreciate all you who are serving, and then for the new people who are coming on board, I thank you for serving with us as well. And if you don't know yet, we've chosen to kind of go with a new material for this year to try it out. And if something happens and we don't like it, then we can switch it. But I would love to try this out. This is the Gospel Project. One of my friends actually started the Gospel Project at Lifeway, and one thing I really like about it is making sure we're tying the story of Jesus into all the scriptures as we teach. So it's got a couple pieces in it that are really cool. One is the Christ connection that is helping us see in every text where Jesus is, what this means for us with Jesus. Two, essential doctrines. And so with each lesson, there is going to be an essential doctrine that is important for us to know as Christians in our faith. And then finally, not in every lesson, but in a lot of them, it has an apologetics piece to it as well. So like the first week that we'll start with, it's talking about God's good world and God's creation of all things. And so what I like is it has this kind of apologetics piece, which we get to tie into this as well. And finally, another reason I like this is because it does a really good job with application at the end. So this thing's kind of broken down in two lessons. One is God's mission and then our mission. So God's mission, his creation of the world, but then our mission, what does this mean for us? And we're going to talk about the head, the heart, and the hands. And so how does this word reflect, change our minds? How does this word change our hearts? How does this word change our hands? And so yeah, I think it's going to be good. Some of it's going to be kind of different maybe than usual, but I would just ask that you be willing to take time to look through it. You don't have to, as always, you don't have to literally go word by word of what the lesson teaches, but I do hope that you would take time to read through it, see how you feel led to teach this, and go forward with it that way. So here's what I want to do real quick. I want to kind of walk through the material with you real quick so that you have an idea of what to look for in it. And then if you have any questions, please just email me or call me or text me about those as well. So first of all, on August 12th, Move Up Sunday, don't necessarily start teaching this then. I want you to use that week to get to know your students. Maybe, which I think would be great, is maybe you'd be willing to share your testimony with your students, how you came to faith in Jesus, maybe how God's working in your life right now. And then also be willing to see if any students would be willing to either share their testimony or talk about how God is working in their hearts. So do that so the kids can get to know you, and then you can get to know them as well. Play some games, have some fun. Do that on August 12th. And then we will start our material on August 19th. Now, on this material, it says September 2nd, but it's okay. We're going to start early because we always tend to, everybody usually ends up missing like a week or so, either by doing something off topic that you feel led to teach or going to the coffee shop or something like that. So by us starting 2 weeks early, we're still able to cover all the material. So, all right, so this is the Gospel Project. You will get this on a jump drive. I'll bring them on Sunday, and on there it will have the leader's guide for each session, and then also something that you can give the students to take home is like a devotional guide that goes along with this every day if they want it. Now, I'm not going to print those off for you just every week, so here's what we're going to do. If you're studying the story, the message, and you decide you want to give these devotional guides to your students, let me or Anna or Casey or someone know by Thursday afternoon. And if you let us know by Thursday afternoon, we will print these off for you on Friday to have them over to Crosswalk for you for Sunday morning if you want your students to use the devotional guides. But you can see all that as you begin to work through the material. So, all right, let me just show you a little bit of information about this material. Right here, it's going to start right here. So session 1, we're talking about creation in the fall. And the first session is going to start and talk about God's good world. Okay, so it'll come with a front page with all the scripture on here that we'll go through. I think this is actually ESV, so the scripture is, but you can teach it with whatever whatever piece you want to. With each lesson, there's going to be kind of a first page that'll have a main point. So this main point that God created all things good. That's what we want to make sure we're communicated. Make sure that is communicated in this lesson, that God created all things good. But then also it'll have a couple different intro options if you want to start the lesson with these ways. Or if you feel led like you have an illustration or a story of your own that you want to use, you can do that as well and just scrap that. And then a piece that I think is pretty cool is each lesson comes with a teaching plan as well as commentary for the verses that you're going through. And so, for instance, this first lesson was written by J.D. Greear, which, if you don't know, J.D. Greear is our new president of Southern Baptist Convention. He's also the pastor of he's the pastor of Summit Church in Raleigh, Durham area. And so he wrote this first one. And so with this is some commentary that he provides on the verses used in this lesson. So that can provide you as a teacher some background about this, some help to help for you as you teach this passage. I don't recommend you pick this up and read it word for word to students. I don't even recommend that you bring it on Sunday morning. Just maybe you can read through it as you prepare to teach, and it'll give you some insight into the passage. But each lesson does come with teaching plans for the verses. So here's like a teaching plan. What it does is basically just provide you with, it's kind of a loose outline of the passage with questions that can be asked as you work through the verses. Like I said, one thing I love about this material is that you can kind of structure it the way that you feel led to structure it as the teacher. And so just some good questions that you can ask as you move through the passage. Also the piece about the doctrines. All that is in here in the teaching guides and the teaching plan. Another commentary piece with the Christ connection on the bottom, something you can hit on, making sure that we're presenting in the story. Once again, if we're teaching and it's not about Jesus, then I think we've oftentimes messed up. So make sure Jesus is the center of it. And finally, here's the last page. I thought that was pretty cool. And this is the Our Mission portion. So in here, like for instance, this is how it starts with the paragraph. God's story has always been designed to connect with our story. It is because of His story that our story makes sense, has meaning, and can carry into eternity. Use these questions below to help link through how His story connects with your own. So this has some just questions about the head, the heart, and the hands right here that we can kind of end with some application, as well as for you just some wording on maybe, how to work through these answers to these questions or work through these questions with some students. So like I said, it's pretty easy. It's not a lot of material. It's not like a 30-page thing. I've got a lot just because I printed a lot of it out. But it's simple material to work through. It's very gospel-centered. It's easy to use. And so if you could take some time just to see it, get to know it. And yeah, I look forward to going through this with all you guys. So love you guys. Thank you all for serving. Remember, Move Up is August 12th, and we will start this material on August 19th. Thanks, guys. Talk to you later.